And we are live. Welcome back to the Wana Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the viewers who powers this show.
New people, the incumbent listeners always know, but the podcast is always brought to you and powered by Wana Parlay, home of the world's richest parlay. And Lance, once again, just an outstanding weekend from everybody over at Wana Parlay. In the main event, we had RWB Your Mom, one of the great handles on the account, go home with $2,000 this week. Caitlin Clark, new to the page, going home with $1,000 this week. And Ty Fisher, first time I'm seeing him high up on the leaderboard, making himself $750. So some inflated numbers going across the main event this week. Love to see it. The pick 7, Sunny22 stays hot. Way to go, Eric. Checking you out. That guy's always on some kind of leaderboard. He's up a couple grand so far on the Wana Parlay family. And then we got good stuff coming up. So everyone needs to remember to join the Wana Parlay VIP contest. It still has 2 more weeks to go. And just like every other bet you make around here, every other pick, it's just $2 to enter, and consider the value. We're talking 2 suite tickets, 2 hotels, all expenses paid, food, drink, Taylor Swift right down the way, Monday Night Football, Chiefs, Bucks, well more than $2,000. Big time stuff on the $2 investment right there. And then the last one, kind of a cool thing we get to pump today. If you're in Chicago this week, or specifically a week from today, next Monday, October 21st, everyone go check out a very cool event that Wana Parlay is hosting. If you've never attended one of the citywide events, prepare for an extremely memorable experience over there at Little Joe's in Chicago. They're bringing back the old drop vibe with Bob, Art, and KG reunited back behind the bar and whipping up their famous jambalaya. It's exciting. It's rare that jambalaya becomes famous. It has to be pretty damn good to get some kind of notoriety. And then come by and see why many call this the best jambalaya in the city and one of the great bars in Chicago. Again, this is next Monday, October 21st. Wana Parlay is going to be sponsoring the event, and we will be there shaking it up with everybody, having some drinks and eating some jambalaya. So good to be good. And that's who brings you. That's who pays the bills around here.
Jack, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what jambalaya is.
Oh, grow up. You claim to be an LSU guy.
My brother that went to LSU. Let's rehash on my words. Yeah, no, I'm a little lost on this jambalaya. I feel a little uncultured. I feel like I'm a little lost here.
Okay, this is going to sound like a jab, and it's not towards you. It's towards an entire culture of people. And it's not a jab. It's just something, we all got to be able to take it every now and again. And I will say this about the Cajuns and Louisiana. I do not get the cuisine. I don't get the culture. I don't get any of it. Jambalaya, Lance, is like sliced up sausage, which they do with a hot dog a lot of the time, shrimp, some other stuff thrown in this rice deal, all in this Cajun mix. It's like a freaking southern swamp delicacy. And I'll say, it doesn't sound great. It's fantastic. It's a home run, especially when it's good.
I was going to say, so far you had me lost on the ingredients, but if it's a home run, it's a home run.
Go look up pictures. It doesn't look like something you'd ever want. Yeah, all of a sudden you end up at some kind of fucking, tailgate situation. You're whipping up some jambalaya. You'd never order it or just fuck around in the kitchen and catch yourself making it. But when it's good, it's real good. I'm telling you what. We're going to build an event around a famous jambalaya. That shit's got to be pretty fucking slappy.
I was going to say, it's got to be ridiculous. It's got to be 10 out of 10. So if you're in Chicago, definitely go check out, what is it, Little Joe's?
Little Joe's in Chicago. And it's our boy Kevin Glywa that runs that place, who is Chicago KG, the guy who wins a lot of money around here. So good people. Pops in. He's a listener to the podcast from time to time. So we've gotten to interview him before in the past. Good people, great bar. Still dying to go. Hope to make it out next Monday and be a part of the Wana group out there having fun with everybody.
I mean, that would be incredible. And you get to experience just some 10 out, maybe 11 out of 10 jambalaya. So, I mean,
I'll say this too. Chicago doesn't miss on food. The Midwesterners get it right there. That's a great, great food town. And to go fucking off the beaten track and say, we're going to throw jambalaya at you, I just know it's going to be fantastic. I can't speak to how you're going to feel on Tuesday, but I know Monday night's going to be a good time.
Oh, that is awesome. Well, Jack, I think it's time we recap our picks for the weekend. Do you want to explain what we announced and how we had money on these picks?
I very much want to explain what we announced. I don't so much want to go through my picks. It was a bad start. I looked at our people in the face and in the eyes and said, trust me, come along. We're all going to get rich. And if you weren't on our team, everyone would have been immediately to the bank having issues. So Lance and I are putting our money where our mouth is officially going forward on this podcast. And we want everyone to come along with us. We are hell bent on making some difference money, making amount of money. Something we quote around here. We don't like playing for fucking Chipotle lunches anymore. I'm sick of $20 bets. We want to jack it up. We want in a couple weeks be talking about vacation plans. So that's what this is about. And if you follow along with us, we're starting with $1,000. We are growing this bad boy. We will be at 10 grand before long. I say that with complete confidence, in spite of the fact it was not a good start. And it's all my fault.
We got KG Little Joe's making an appearance in the chat right after we just announced his jambalaya. He says, I make it with chicken, a word I don't know how to pronounce, sausage, shrimp, rice, tons of different spices for the sauce. It's amazeballs. So, folks, it sounds like it's just 12 out of 10 jambalaya. So, if you find yourself in the Chicago area, find yourself at Little Joe's.
And it's a famous big-time group of bartenders back there. KG's usually tending bar a little bit as well as he's running the entire show. So the fact that we've moved him back to the kitchen, I'm telling you guys, this is all the makings of one of those kind of special evenings. You got to get over there.
Oh, dude, it just sounds incredible. I've never been to Chicago, so I'm a little, like I said, I'm uncultured.
No jambalaya, no Chicago. You got issues, pal. We're going to work on this. This is why we're making money. This is why we're making money. I just got to do my part and actually carry it. Yeah. So if we can go through the picks, in total, we went 5-5. So we lose the vig, no big bath taken. We lose the vig. We were going $50 units, so we're down $25 to start. So we're now at $975 overall, starting at 1,000. Not something I enjoy quoting. We're going to be back next week. We're going to bounce around. Maybe we ride the hot hand with Lance and do a double uniter on a game or two. We'll see. You're going to have to check in Thursday for that action. But yeah, I shit the bed. It starts with 2 bad unders, and I hate betting over unders. I almost announced these with some insecurity and just a complete lack of confidence. I took the BYU Arizona under. Looked actually really good for a long, long time. Kind of got a little fucked late in the game. BYU is that good right now. They're that hot. The Big 12 is kind of tough to look at. Very cannibalistic, but BYU seems to keep kicking everybody's ass. So fascinating plot line to keep an eye on there. Iowa Washington under. Iowa decides to score 40 points for the first time in 4 seasons. I don't know what to do with about that. I mean, you get smoked on a plainly good pick. You just got to fucking wear it in the mouth and go. And then South Florida +7 versus Memphis. Yeah, that's a pretentious pick. That was a back patter. That was me jerking myself off. We should. South Florida's they've not been the team I anticipated. I thought this was a get right game for them. It was not at all. Fuck South Florida. You don't get 7 points at home and consider yourself a well-coached team. I'm off them for the foreseeable future, probably all of 2024. West Virginia +3 versus Iowa State. I guess the Cyclones are for real. It's Iowa State versus BYU in the Big 12. Did not have that on my bingo card to start the season. And then Kansas State -3.5 at Colorado. Thank God they come back late and get the late touchdown and cover that bad boy by a half point. Had to have it. Just to keep myself sane. I get the late win to go 1-4. Needed a miracle from Lance, and he fucking delivered for me.
Oh, it felt good. It felt great. After seeing your picks too, I was a little damn worried. I was like, oh God, we might be in some trouble here. Just to recap on the BYU Arizona game real quick. What the is Noah Fafita? What's going on with him? He opened up that second half basically the worst you possibly could.
2 things have happened for Noah Fafita. One, he lost Jacob Cowing last year, who was even the more productive receiver than T-Mac. T-Mac has all their measurables and is the freak player, makes the highlight plays. Jacob Cowing was kind of their possession guy that made it work. And then you lose Jed Fish's offense, which really played to his strengths. And, we've talked about it a lot, comparing the Commanders to the Bears, but I just think they cleaned it up and simplified for him. I think this offense is a little bit more based in run and then what you set up off the run. And so you get a little bit more of the progression stuff. This is what you see with kind of, the 49ers and more of the old school offenses. It starts with stretch, then you get the half roll set off it, then you get the naked. That's how you get the digs. Everything gets set up off the run scheme, versus vice versa when you want to spread it out and create run game through your perimeter passing game, which is what they did under Jed Fish. So I just think it's going to take a little while for everyone to kind of understand what they do and don't do. They'll do a great job in the portal. It's an easy place to recruit to. I don't get the lay at all for Brent Brennan, and I'm a big Brent Brennan fan. That was a swing and a miss for me. I get him embracing the culture, but that's just a white guy doing white guy things for me right there. So we'll see how they do in the portal, but I'm not stoked on the lay.
Oh my God, that is so funny. That's so true too. It's like, what are we doing here? I get it, maybe pregame or postgame when you win, but why?
Yeah.
Take it off. Take it off.
Yeah. Lance, you and me are cousins, so we share a grandpa, and he's one of the all-timers, and Dick Neuheisel. But Dick Neuheisel is the guy who might wear a lei in the middle of a vacation. And we're all wearing it coming off the plane, or we're drinking pog juice, enjoying it in Hawaii. But then you lose it, and you go, I am who I am. I'll stay in my lane, and I'll enjoy the time while I'm here. This is jumping the shark. The lei is too much. I need a rebrand on offense and on the coach's sideline apparel, and then we're good. Then I'm back on Arizona.
No, that is too true. That is so funny. The Dick Neuheisel call out. He would definitely keep that lay on the entire vacation. All right.
He has misappropriated one too many cultures in his life, and he does so out of pure respect. But just in today's day and age, why don't we chill?
Yeah. All right, going into Sunday's picks, we brought us back to 5-5. Starting off, Bears in London. I was just betting against Jacksonville because they are not very good. They're just not a good team. Trevor Lawrence is a fraud. You taught me that. Jack. So I appreciate you for teaching me that. And yeah, Caleb Williams looked great, and the Bears look great. So there's game one. Game two, Packers -4.5 versus Cardinals. All I said, Packers are just the better team. You don't think too hard about it. Take the pack, and let's move forward. There we go. Another win. Browns +9.5. What did I say? The Eagles aren't good enough to beat any team in the NFL by 10 points. I just didn't see it, and I still don't see it. So there you go. Even with Deshaun Watson, the Browns still covered. Commanders +6.5 was the loss. That one hurt. That was tough. You missed by half a point, and you kind of saw it. Once it was tied 10-10 and they went up 17-10 and they started moving, I was like, shit, they're going to win by a touchdown, aren't they? So that one hurts a little, but Jaden Daniels, I'm still a huge fan, and I won't be shying away from betting on the Commanders again. I'll tell you that much. It's a fluke. And then Colts +2.5. Like I said, I wanted Titans. I thought Titans, so I went against my instinct. It was just like, give me the Colts. It's divisional, on the road. Who knows what's going to happen? And you made a key point. Colts needed a win. And they got a win. So, huge. They cover as well. There's 4-1. There's Sunday. 5-5.
Shane Steichen, the head man for the Colts, is as impressive as an offensive play caller as anyone else in the league right now. And the offensive coaching right now in the league is the best it's ever been. I mean, it's unbelievable. And this is a guy who took Gardner Minshew to the playoffs last year. And barring a freak show play at the end of that game, they win a playoff game. So the Colts are always, they're going to be flirting around that wild card spot. They were desperate for a win. Love you fading your own instincts there and just trust in the logic. Commanders +6.5. I'm so with you. That game just started trading at 7 rather than 3 and 4. And I was like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
They're not going to field goal. We're screwed. The Ravens always have a tendency to go and fuck up a game like that late, but they hung in tight. I still think we were right on both those teams, though. I'm not shying away from either of our opinions. Browns +9.5. You called it out. Absolute genius mode. Way to go. Important block kick in that game. An important block kick in that game.
Huge.
That thing running away from us. We get the block kick, and then it was like not even a sweat the rest of the way. Packers, dude. You said it, and the Cardinals are one of the tougher teams for me to bet on this year. I have no idea who we're getting with them. I have no idea how defenses are going to, match up against Kyler Murray. It's always a wait and see proposition for me. So way to fucking go and trust your guns. Let's take the Packers at Lambeau when they need a win, and Jordan Love is back and healthy. And then it is so nice taking your first pick, waking up, and the Bears are already rolling. Be like, okay, The comeback train has started. We got Kansas State late last night. Lance has got me with the Bears. He's going to bring us all the way back. We're going to be all right.
I felt damn good.
So way to go, brother. And then we've got some of our narratives popping up this week. So some good stuff to watch. And to your point, the Commanders remain maybe my favorite team to continue to bet on going forward. I think not covering right here does us a big time favor with Vegas. Hopefully in the next game, we get a 1.5 we don't deserve, and we get to hammer them right back again.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, honestly, Vegas is hurting after this weekend. I've seen that a lot of favorites and a lot of overs hit across this NFL slate.
Yeah. But overall, dude, what a weekend. I mean, that was every bit the divisional playoff round. That was Masters, Augusta Sunday. I mean, that was a damn good Saturday. I went to games. We went to the USC Penn State game. Awesome game.
Yeah, incredible.
I had to go trek it late to the UCLA Minnesota game, which I was on the losing end of that, but also a very good game. Lance, I had to have 20 beers this day. I wasn't even trying to drink. I wasn't even trying to launch it. It just started at 9 and went till midnight. I had to have 20 beers.
Oh, man, that's a grindy day. Go from the LA Coliseum, trek your way over to Pasadena and the Rose Bowl. I can't imagine. How much time did you spend in the car because of the traffic between those two games?
Quite a bit. We toggled between some radio, some podcasting, some music, even some quiet time. It was like the LA day where you wake up early. You go snowboarding, you're up in the mountains, then you make it back and you surf in the evening. And it's the only place you can really go do that. This is really the only place you can go hit two big time premium Big Ten games like that back to back. That was good. That was a good viewing experience. I was rooting for the losing team in both games. That's the only thing that sucks.
Yeah, that's the tough part. Man, I mean, yeah, I want to go over some of the big games today, but I do have someone that has to make an appearance. He's calling in. I faded his team. I gotta let him know now.
Is this the Duck himself? Is this Papa? Is this the Plart Man?
He might be the Duck himself. I mean, I did see him at the USC game, but he might have been flown in, and he might be the Duck himself.
That would be all time. Which, by the way, which Duck do you like more between Oregon's and then Miami's little guy?
Oregon. It's got to be Oregon.
It's actually a Duck, right?
Yeah.
When he rides in on the Harley. Good.
His antics all this entire weekend. I mean, with game day being there, I mean, the Duck is iconic. Even though I've been, and so have you, I usually, I'm not a fan of the Ducks. I mean, what they got going on there, what they've had going on there is just too good. Too good.
I have an unbelievable level of respect for Phil Knight and the Ducks, and a majority of the people, they're great coaches that have gone through there, and players too. Just frankly, me and that fan base, let's fucking go all day. I respect the shit out of you. We'll never be friends. While we wait on Papa, by the way, Lance, did you watch that last play of the Oregon-Ohio State game?
Yeah.
Did you catch, I'm not sure if I'm prepared to give Dan Lanning credit for it or not, but it was off a timeout, so I do think it was intentional. They're going to get a rule change accomplished in NCAA football. Did you catch it? What happened?
The only thing that you go. I'll tell you after what confused me in the game.
Okay, so Ohio State hits the big completion. They go to 1st and 10 from, I think it was like the 28-yard line, because I think the kick would have been a 45-yarder from that moment on.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get the 15-yarder. So it's going to be a 60-yard kick coming back, and Oregon takes the timeout. There's, at this point, I think 12 seconds left in the game, something like that. Oregon takes the timeout. They come back out for the next play where they've got to hit a chunk play. Ohio State's got a bunch formation set up, which is always a tough little deal to play. It usually guarantees you a free release somebody. So just for that quick hitter where you're trying to get 5 to 10 yards in that situation, Oregon has to play relatively conservative because you don't want to get beat over your head. So it was going to be a tough spot right there for Oregon. Oregon comes out with 12 guys on the field. Played with 12. The Ohio State runs the play. It gets flagged. They come back. Ohio State gets 5 yards, but they burn 7 seconds on the play. Now they go down to 6 seconds. They've gained 5 yards. It's a 55-yard kick from here, but you got rid of the big thing, and you burn 6 seconds on it. Will Rogers chokes the next play away. Ball game.
Wow. That's
Will Howard. I keep calling him Will Rogers.
No, yeah, you're all good. I knew who you were talking about.
Yeah, I
Oh,
keep
what?
calling him Roger. Bro, Howard.
Damn, that's what the hell? Because my confusion was the offensive PI. I thought there was a runoff because Ohio State was trying. They're kind of going to the line thinking the clock was stopped.
Because the clock isn't running when it happens, because it's the dead ball on the deal, you don't get it. You don't get the runoff.
But they did. That's what happened to Ohio State. There was a runoff.
They did take the runoff. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was caught inbounds. Yeah. So because it was caught inbounds, the clock's rolling on the first down right there. You get the offensive PI. It's the runoff.
Okay, yeah. So I was so confused because I thought because of the penalty, like it would kind of stop it and go back. Because I mean, Ohio State didn't know either. I mean, they were walking to the line like trying to hear a play. I mean, Otson and had to be going fucking bonanza. But
yeah, big time fucking effort from Dan Lanning. And part of me thought it was a fuck up that now we're going back and giving him credit for. He gets to be a genius on a fuck up, which I'm like, let's sit tight. Because they're gonna play it coy. Papa, congratulations, way to go.
Go Ducks. I'm sorry to say you were both wrong. You can't come into Austin like that and expect to win. Honestly,
I love it. I actually thought your Q played pretty decent. Finally, I thought he managed the shit out of that game. I thought you guys looked pretty damn good on Saturday.
I think that was their best game by far, and yeah, Dylan finally looked like what we thought he was going to look like all season.
Yeah,
and I think we left some points on the board there. I think
I think you did too. The red zone passing for short quarterbacks is always a tough deal, but that's where a lot of field goals. I just felt like points were left on the board. But I thought we did a good job of calling it out that last year, what kind of got the big time hype train going for Dylan Gabriel was his big time performance against Texas in the Red River rivalry.
He's a big game player.
And that kind of felt like what this week was for Oregon fans. Obviously, the Civil War being kind of diminished this year, being the early in the season and non-conference. So that was the game of the season on the schedule, and he balled. That was the best he's played all year.
Yeah, we gotta love it. Go Ducks. It's only us but knowing the Ducks, I don't know. This season we're gonna lose to like Purdue next week or something. Like that.
It seems like Oregon's playing. I mean, don't get me wrong; they've been, kind of dominating teams, but it feels like their offense, or somehow they play to the level of their opponent. Like they're not. It doesn't seem like they're just steamrolling like A+. Like this is our game every game. It feels like it depends on who we're playing. That's how well we're gonna play. Am I cooking somewhere with that, Papa?
You are. I mean, the last weeks before Ohio State looked great, but it's just knowing Oregon, we've lost some crazy bad games that has taken us out of contention many years.
Fair take, though. You guys let Boise State kind of hang around, and Boise State's damn good, but that's JV varsity game. That should have been an ass kicking. And then UCLA kind of gets to hang around. They cover their number. There has been a little bit of playing to their level. And then Papa, because you guys look like a playoff team right now. I was talking to my dad about it the other day, and it looks like the Big Ten's probably going to get 4 teams. Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State all look like pretty decent locks going in, barring some chaos coming down the stretch here. As you look cross conference and you look towards the big games coming up, one possible rematch in the Big Ten championship, and then looking way down the road to the playoff. Are you concerned that you got to go play Kalen DeBoer again and possibly that Alabama team? Are you concerned you got to? Who scares you? Who doesn't scare you?
I mean, Texas has looked. Obviously, they look good. I don't think they should be 1. I think they need to beat Georgia to be 1, but we'll talk, we don't need to talk about that. But they go out and they dominate. They do their job every week. Obviously, playing any big SEC school like Bama, Georgia, I wouldn't say it scares me. I think Lanning has gotten better every year with this team. He's a young coach. He's aggressive. I think this year, there's not that team that dominates as much. It kind of is wide open. So if the Ducks could put 4 good games together at the end of the season, I think they could win it. I think anyone could do that this year, though.
So
100%.
You think this is the most wide open college football has been?
I think almost ever. I mean, maybe last year was pretty open, but I think Georgia, if they made the playoff, they would have won last year. I don't think anyone was stopping that team, you know.
New world with the transfer portal and the NIL, and now even the expanded playoff. So, like, fun fact, Penn State would have made the playoff like 8 times by now had it been the 12-team playoff this whole time. But they haven't made the playoffs once. So it's like, all of a sudden Penn State has been rattling off Rose Bowls. They get hot and they make a move. Oregon's been on just like the 6th or 7th team coming into that selection day quite a bit. So, yeah, it's as wide open as it's ever been. It's going to be the best. I mean, those 2 weekends in a row, the first 2 weekends of playoffs are going to be the best football games we've ever had.
Yeah, it's gonna be a thing of greatness. We've needed this in college football.
Well, Papa, fucking go Ducks, man. Was rooting hard for you guys.
Come
we had it
on.
on in the box at the UCLA game. I was rooting my fucking ass off for you guys. Even though we told the people we were thinking Ohio
It
State.
was not an official pick, so you could root for whoever you wanted to.
It was unofficial. We had to give our honest opinion.
That's a great call, Papa. Elaborate a little more, because I know when I talked to you earlier today, you were a lot more upset than you sound on this show. Why is Texas still number 1?
It doesn't make sense. I get the Boise State, Oregon wasn't looking great, but Boise's now top 15. So there's one top 15 win. We have the best win of the country. I mean, yeah, they look good. But all their ranked wins look worse now, whereas our bad wins you could call look better. I just don't get it. I think you have to earn that number 1 spot, and they had it. I think a big win at Autzen should jump us to 1, at least for a week. I mean, we'll see what happens this weekend. Big game, Georgia, Texas, but I just don't see what win puts Texas number 1. I don't see it.
Dude, Papa, I've stated many a times, and it's true, such high respect for Oregon. But it's in my bones to hate you people, and it's in my just written in my DNA. But I actually think you've got a great case there. I think Texas gets the most fucking bullshit favoritism from the national media, and they're the most misunderstood fucking team ever. We go back through these wins. They played the original Michigan quarterback. They didn't have to play the backup who kind of had himself a little bit hot. If you go watch that Oklahoma game, boy, was that a fucking comedy. Oklahoma fumbles when they're up 7. That goes back for a touchdown on the next play. Like several plays. Like that game was not as lopsided as that score fucking showed. Like there was some deads, there was some 3 and outs and all that. But every time I flipped over, it was a comedy of errors going on from fucking Oklahoma. And Texas just keeps benefiting off it. I like Georgia this week early. We'll see what that line does, but I like Georgia going on the road and winning one this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I think it will be a great game. Probably some back and forth, but Texas that game ours started, with Mississippi State, they kind of let them close the whole game. I was watching that game, and I'm like, when are they going to break away? When are they going to win by a lot? And, they kind of did, but I don't know. They're not number 1. I mean, they're for sure 2, but number 1 is crazy to me.
Backing up and playing devil's advocate for them too. Their offense gets so much of the conversation because Sark's obviously an offensive guy, and then it's the Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning discussion. And they've had so many good offensive skill players in the last couple of drafts. But their defense has been fucking excellent. They've not given anything to anybody on defense. So that'll be the interesting thing. This is far and away the best defense Georgia's played so far, including that game in Kentucky on the road where they win 13-12 or something like that. Was that final score?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Is Carson Beck a guy or is he not? And if Carson Beck can just elevate it a little bit and they can be explosive on offense, I like Georgia this week. But that's the matchup to look at: Georgia offense versus Texas defense.
Yeah, I think last thing I got to say is I think honestly Carson Beck's kind of a Stetson Bennett with more praise. I mean, the guy is not. He's not what he's hyped up to be. I don't get it. No. I've never gotten it either.
It's not a pro prospect thing. Stetson Bennett, by the way, is one of my favorite idiots of all time. Stetson Bennett, fun story on Stetson Bennett people like to forget. Let me remind everybody on Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett forewent the Senior Bowl, did not go to it, saying he'd like to take more time to specialize his training and get better and really prepare for the draft. He thinks it's a waste of time. The weekend the Senior Bowl was happening, when he was supposed to be doing that specialized training, he got arrested in Dallas at 5:30 in the morning for disorderly conduct. Now, I went to school in Dallas. If you're putzing around at 5:30 in the morning, banging on doors like that, you're doing one thing. You're doing one thing, and it's some aggressive things. So, I'll just food for thought. Know that.
Gotta love those Georgia kids.
Oh, dude, those Georgia kids are getting a track record. I mean, it is brutal over there.
Since Jalen Carter, they've had like 55 different arrests for kids in cars. What the fuck is going on over there? The next Fast and Furious movie will be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson coaching the University of Georgia. They'll just film the fucking thing and have.
Holy shit. Well, Papa, thank you for joining the show. I got one more question for you. Monday Night Football, Jets, Bills. What's your pick?
You know, I've heard a lot of people keep telling me Jets. You know, I think the public's on the Bills. I think I can't get behind the Jets. I really can't. I know maybe it was a coaching thing, maybe it was this and that, but the Bills I think are the better team, and I don't think the Jets have. They lost 9-10 to the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos great defense and all, but this is supposed to be a playoff contender Jets team, and I haven't seen anything like that. They could, come out and finally play the game that breaks them through, but I just don't see it on Monday night.
Papa, in your defense, everything in the way of logic here screams Bills.
That's
Bills
why I think maybe I bet the Jets because, the logic goes to the Bills, which, logic gets flown out the window every time I bet.
You know me well enough. That's all a preface because I was going to say the logic is going to fuck you left, right, and center. You don't think they thought about the logic when they put this line together? You got to get on a narrative here, and the narrative is Robert Saleh was the problem. We just got to live with that world. Even though he's a better coach than the guy they fucking replaced him with, who cares? It's a new coach. We got to follow it. You got to trust it blindly.
You got it. You know what? I'm betting DeMar Hamlin pick tonight.
DeMar Hamlin pick.
He's a prime time player. All right, boys. Yep, you know what? With that logic, everything points to the Bills. I'm taking the Jets.
Oh, so you're coming back. You came back to Jets.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I think everything points to the Bills. I don't know why the Jets, but I'm just going to take them. I'm going to take them. I'm going to throw on them, and we're going to pray.
I'll tell you why. It's because Jeff Ulbrich can really fucking coach, and Nathaniel Hackett is not calling the plays tonight. That's why.
Okay. Well, we're gonna be okay. I'll ride with the boys. We salute
and now, Aaron Rodgers, that petty motherfucker, it's all on him tonight.
Yeah.
There's no excuses. No excuses.
If they still suck, he's just washed.
He's just washed. And, Breece Hall might come back as well. I've been eyeing Breece Hall over 3.5. I don't know who's watching. Sneaky pick right there.
Over 3.5 receptions?
Over 3.5 receptions. It's a great line.
That's sneaky.
I think I don't think Vegas got that one right. I don't know where they got it.
So over 3.5 receptions for Breece Hall. Jets money line. Papa books it. Papa, we appreciate your services.
Of course. We salute you guys.
Yep, we salute you.
Let's go Ducks, baby. Way to go. Really quick, I want to throw, because now we have the player prop on there. So we now have an eligible Wana parlay. I want to get one more piece of action on that because first pitch is in 5 minutes. Yankees tonight. Carlos Rodon. Okay. The Yankees match up very well. It's not a great offense on Cleveland. It's a great defense, great bullpen. Depending starting pitcher, great starting pitching, but it's going to be a low scoring affair. The place where the Yankees get into trouble, their pitching's actually been pretty great this whole year. It's when they get in these offensive battles because their bats can go real sleepy. If Juan Soto and Aaron Judge aren't hitting, there's really no one to pull them out of the fucking rut. So a team like this, they match up really well against. Anthony Rizzo is back playing first base tonight. Defensively, he's great. He's been banged up and he's not got a lot of swings, but he's a lefty pull hitter playing at Yankee Stadium tonight in front of 50,000. That just might be a walking home run sitting out there right when we need it. The Yankees tonight money line to talk on to the parlay. And if you just fucking hate New York, then just take the logical pick and go under 7.5. There's no bats on this Cleveland team. Carlos Rodon is going to settle in and play a little poker tonight, not get so emotional, and go 6 full innings and giving up less than 2 earned runs. And then the bullpen's going to be shut lights out again. So under 7.5 and Yankees all day.
Boom. I mean, you know it better than me. Like I've said, I'm not a baseball guy. One thing I will say, my friends were talking about it. Is it Doyers? Is it Dodgers? Is it Doyers? Is it a Doyers day? And I said, no, it's all about the Mets, baby, the Mets. And right
It's a New
now,
York day, baby. We got Jets, Mets, Yankees. Let's fly.
it's a New York day. Oh shit,
Big
that's good.
Applers.
All right. Before we get into our own Monday, I mean, I know you snuck that one in, but we got a little time before the Monday Night Football. I want to play a game. I got 5 questions to ask you, and I want you to dive not too deep, but a little deep, kind of letting us know what your thoughts are. All right, the game is who's to blame, and I'm gonna start off with the one everyone's questioning. It was his birthday yesterday. Jerry Jones or Mike McCarthy? Who's to blame?
It's Jerry Jones, and it's not close. And I thought Mike McCarthy was a miss on the hire, top to bottom, right when it first happened. But this whole thing was the blown off season. They brought nobody into the backfield. Derrick Henry signed for pennies on the dollar to Baltimore. There's plenty of guys on the market that could have gone. Instead, they re-signed Zeke, and they pay Dak big money, which is the right thing to do because you haven't necessarily. But no, it's not. You had 3 Super Bowl rosters the last couple of years, and he keeps getting beat by the fucking 49ers. Whose fault is that? Elevate your fucking game, win playoff games. That's the only thing that's the line. Nick Wright back in the day, Lance, had a great rule that I always took with me, which is there's a bar in there, which is Matt Ryan. Anybody better than Matt Ryan deserves to be paid. Anybody below the bar of Matt Ryan, if you pay him, you're a losing team. That's just the way it goes. If you, and it's the same is true of college recruiting. It's not the guys that didn't come to your program that end up being great some other place. It's the guys you thought were going to be great to come for you that now you end up wasting a scholarship on and can't do shit for you, or wasting NIL resources on and can't do shit for you. That's too much money to be paying Dak Prescott. He's not a top 10 cornerback in the league, even though he's a top 10 guy in the league. But you just, business or personal, you got to go business. It's Jerry Jones. You shouldn't have paid Dak. You needed a better offseason.
Boom. Hey, you said it basically exactly how I would have said it, so I'll just leave it at that. We salute you on one. Number 2, Panthers front office or coaching? Who's to blame?
Oh, man. So tough because clearly, I mean, the Bryce trade for the draft pick is going to go down. If not for the Deshaun Watson acquisition, it would be one of the worst transactions in the history of the NFL, is how it's going to feel like. I feel Bryce Young's been rat fucked a little bit. And part of me is just being a homer because I liked Bryce Young coming out. Told a lot of people that he was going to overcome the height, that, it's as long as you're on time and you can do these things, what the fuck ever. So Bryce Young's looked like shit, but no one's looked good. I don't think the front office has done a good job of drafting offensive skill positions. They went in on all in on Adam Thielen, and who's been better than the Vikings with their fucking skill positions the last couple of years, getting the most out of some kind of no-name guys, honestly, and then obviously Justin Jefferson's success. So they were smart to get rid of him. The Panthers were dumb to pick him up. I'm saying front office. I'm saying this is a front office problem.
I like it, and I agree. I had this once again. It's like you're stealing the words from my brain. Love it.
It's
All
that
right.
telepathy. It's that telepathy.
All right. Next up, who's to blame, Lawrence or Peterson?
You know where I stand on this. It's everyone who believed in Trevor Lawrence. It's not his fault. He sucks. His processing is a half second late, which is more significant than it is an F1 to be a half second late. You can't fucking be late. You have to see shit before it happens. And if you can't anticipate, you've got no chance. He has to wait for shit to come open. This is the ceiling. This is the ceiling.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, once you told me about the Trevor Lawrence fraud watch, he's proven it every single game he's played.
Doug Peterson is beloved by everybody in the NFL, by the way. Beloved.
Yeah, so
highly respected guy.
It's Lawrence. I like it. It's Lawrence. All right.
He won a Super Bowl with fucking Nick Foles.
Exactly. That is a great call out. All right. Who's to blame? Deshaun Watson or the Browns roster?
Deshaun Watson all day. The guy's just become the pumpkin after it struck midnight here. honestly, like there's a great case study, like a psychological study that needs to be done on what's happened here. Because man, oh man, is it like confusing. But this is the worst transaction in the history of the NFL, as far as I can tell.
Wow. So another question, it's still on the Deshaun Watson or Browns roster. Move out Browns roster. Stefanski. Is it Deshaun Watson or is it Stefanski for sticking with Deshaun Watson?
The Deshaun Watson contract has fucked them and put them in an impossible situation. And I do think there is some issues with that ownership group over there, who's a little bit notorious across the NFL circles of being a little bit overly involved. And so they go big. They had to eat so much shit on the PR front, signing Deshaun, and now the investment hasn't panned out. They're doing everything they can to find other reasons and different means of supporting him to justify what they did, because they sold their soul on doing it, or at least the media, like they had to just eat so much shit publicly on it and talk about, hey, whatever. But it's shocking. It's truly shocking.
Everything's Deshaun Watson.
Well, Stefanski gets Joe Flacco to the playoffs. Got our boy from UCLA,
Dorian
Thompson Robinson. DTR wins. And in a lot of ways, I think outside of them, they've done a great job of putting this roster together. Nick Chubb's unhealthy right now. That sucks.
He's coming back in the next couple weeks.
But he's coming back. Receiver core, like I don't think it's like abysmal. Like
Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, I don't see the problem there. Tight ends are plenty talented. O-line's fantastic. Defense is all really good. Like it's the only thing keeping them in games. They just don't have a grown-up at quarterback right now. It's the most confusing thing ever. How bad that guy got, how quickly.
It is unfreaking believable how just it's like it's something in his head. He's forgot the game of football. He lost everything he's ever had.
Part of me thinks Bill O'Brien deserves more credit for those years with the Texans, because Bill O'Brien stepped in, has been an overnight success with Boston College too. Was the guy that got Penn State out of the fucking Jerry Sandusky rut. He was the bounce back guy that had to coach under sanctions there. So, I mean, maybe Billy Bo's better than we ever gave him credit.
Yeah, that's a great call out. All right, last but not least, Jalen Hurts or Sirianni? Who's the blame?
This is so hard. This is so hard because they had that Super Bowl run and everyone blew both of them, and both of them are plenty good, but they're not that. So I haven't watched the film enough. I don't know. My instinct says this is Sirianni's fault because they're asking Jalen Hurts to do shit he can't do, which you have to just know what people can and can't do. And Jalen Hurts, we've all seen the videos of him as a weightlifting freak, where he is attack it, and this is why the tush push and that shit is so effective, and why they've got still some developed QB power run game. He's not a slider; he's a fall forward guy. His shoulders, it's the Brady Quinn problem. You get big in the shoulders, and all of a sudden you get stiff. This is why I couldn't play quarterback, and both my brothers can throw the shit out of the football. You get stiff, and then all of a sudden you've got a great deep ball, and you've got the great fucking fastball, but you've got no touch pitches. You can't feel the difference. So like Trevor Knight was one of our quarterback for the Hot Shots, was a 4.5 guy, played at Oklahoma, Texas A&M, should have been a great player. He's got the big shoulders problem. So like he could go rip a fucking 75-yard go, and you're like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. But then he misses the swing on the next fucking play. This is, I go back to that Jalen Hurts ball that Saquon Barkley drops that fucks up that game against the Falcons. That ball has to be caught. We never should have been running the play anyway. But it can also be stated while we're trading blame around, Jalen Hurts fucking take some mustard off that thing. Why are we gunning that thing? Just flip it out there and play catch. It's a running back. But that's not his game. So part of me, and I do think the best offensive minds in the building when Sirianni took over have all left. I think it was Shane Steichen and the guy in Arizona right now.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, when they went on that Super Bowl run, I mean, the NFL was just picking their coaches apart. They were just, we'll take him. I'm pretty sure in the year after too. I think the split way. I mean, the coordinators were getting hired because of how the success that the Eagles were having.
Yeah, and then Sirianni can't help himself at all because he's just a complete like dork loon. Like he's trying so hard to be like Dan Campbell, and it's like, yeah, you're not at all. No, Dan Campbell's this big lovable teddy bear that would beat the shit out of all of us. Like we follow him. Just because you shave your head and talk shit with the Philly fans, I don't give a shit. Like he's got I don't know. I'm gonna say Sirianni. I'm gonna take Sirianni.
All right, I like it. All right, that wraps up who's to blame. Going into Monday, Tuesday picks, I'm gonna start off quick. I know we share this first pick in common. Jets moneyline, baby. Discount double check. Give me Rodgers. Give me new coach, new play caller. And Vegas, Vegas had a horrible week for themselves betting, and they're down a lot of money. And a lot of the parlays, moneyline parlays, are all leaning Bills.
I 100% agree. A small pendulum swing I'm making with my kind of as I look at these picks. I want to get a little bit back to the pat myself on the back, smart guy narrative bets. Because I do think when you catch yourself going on the obvious guy, yeah, you and every other idiot is rushing to go pay Vegas money. Like I go back through 2 of my picks last week. I take the Iowa-Washington under. Well, fucking course I did. Those are 2 teams that have been underball all fucking year. And Vegas just dangles that line out there for me. I'm like, oh yeah, done. Iowa scores fucking 40. So you can't be with the herd here. Vegas isn't in the business of paying large groups large sums of money. We got to get on the minority here. We can't take the logic. We got to take the narrative. The narrative is new coach, feeling good, Jets in a must win. Aaron Rodgers plays his best game of the year.
And I mean, that's exactly how I feel. Vegas has air conditioning 24/7 for a reason, Jack. It's not because they pay people money. It's because people pay them money. Going up next, hockey. I'm a hockey fan now. This is new for me. Ducks lost last night. I was a little hurt. They're 1-1. Don't sleep on the Ducks. Anaheim Ducks, not those goddamn fools up in Oregon. But I like Avalanche moneyline tonight. I don't know much. I just have Canadian friends that told me the Avalanche are a lock. So I'm riding with the Avalanche, folks.
Avs, I got a roommate who's a big hockey guy and a Colorado guy at that. So the one team I have some kind of education on is the Avs. And it's always tough preseason. I don't know how much of this team carried over roster from last year, but he tells me first period Avs all day.
First period Avs. Wow.
First period Avs. Heat it up.
I like it. I mean, shit. I might have to throw that in there. I know they got.
You might as well.
Yeah, I know they got a Nathan McKinnon. And that guy is
baller.
All time. He's a beast. And then they got who's the defenseman? They got a defenseman that's really good. I don't know. Some
duck or fucking something. I don't know.
Something, but he's a monster. Yeah, give me the Avalanche. And then last but not least, I think this is tomorrow night, South Alabama money line. I don't know anything about South Alabama. This is a Papa pick. I forgot to get him to tell us about this pick, but he loves it. Oh, it's against Troy. I just remembered that. It's against Troy. Wow, look at me. South Alabama money line. I think it was 13.5 last I saw it. So not money line, 13.5 spread. My bad, folks. 13.5 spread. South Alabama over Troy. Jack, give them some real insight on how that actually will go.
Troy is one of the best kept jokes of the season. Troy doesn't get on TV a lot, so not everyone understands the disaster going on in Troy this year. First year head coach, formerly the offensive coordinator out of Notre Dame. I tried hard to be like, this is going to be their get right game like 3 weeks ago, and they've sucked it up every day since then. They've got some serious internal issues. We have people that are losing their jobs. They've got problems. Going against Troy is great. And when you're going to take South Al, you got to like the Jags, baby. Mobile, Alabama. It's good living down there. It's a weird fucking pirate town. It's like JV New Orleans. It's where teams go to die.
Holy shit. That's hilarious. So, yeah, you like the pick? You like 13.5 on South Alabama?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday night action. Let's hit it. Or no, it's Sunbelt. That's some Sunbelt.
Sunbelt, white belt, leather belt. I don't know. Give me South Alabama, baby.
I don't even wear a belt. I'm beltless.
Hey, I'm in sweatpants, so. All right, Jack, lead us with your picks.
Yeah, I rushed him in there so I can go back and be a little bit more
Oh,
extensive on reasons why. But Yankees already started, got into them, wanted people if they had time to rush over and get on the Yankees because that's good action here. Yankees are just tailor made. Is the worst, easiest path anyone's ever gotten going into the playoffs. They get to play a Royals team that wasn't even hot. They just beat an Orioles team that was cold as shit. Now you're getting Cleveland instead of Tyler Skubal for 2 games and the Tigers. You get the better matchup, not a ton of offense. This feels like we're just, destined for either the Subway Series where we get Mets Yankees, which would be pretty badass. We might have to get to New York if that's the case, or we get the Dodgers Yankees, which is, I mean, watching that game, if everyone's back and healthy, we're talking about like 7 guaranteed Hall of Famers suiting it up in that game. So
if it's Dodgers cool. Yankees, that will be an insane. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, Yankees Mets in the Subway Series would be crazy, like beyond itself. But I mean, the Dodgers and the Yankees, the 2 big money spenders, make it to the top. Who gets it done? Man, that would be good.
With 8 first ballot Hall of Famers in the game.
I mean, yeah.
Shoo-ins.
A lot of good players. A lot of damn. I mean, you get Shohei, his first season off my fucking pathetic Angels, and he makes it to the World Series. I mean, it would just be so.
That would be brutal. Hey, speaking of your Anaheim love, do you have a Gordon Bombay Ducks jersey? Do you rock that ever?
I don't have a Ducks jersey. I'm a new Ducks fan. I was former LA Kings fan. Then I went to a game and I wasn't impressed with what they were celebrating at the game. So I headed to Anaheim. I said, I'm dropping the Kings. I was there for your guys' 2 Stanley Cups, but I'm not about this anymore. I'm Newport Beach. I'm closer to Anaheim. Get me on the Ducks. Get me on the Angels. I mean,
I'm going to get you a Julie the Cat jersey. I'll get a Goldberg jersey. We'll just rock the 2 goalie jerseys and go sit behind the fucking goal and get excited. Banging the glass.
Hey, Wednesday night, I'm going to be there. Ducks against Utah Hockey Club.
I love it. The Utah Hockey Club's a fucking team. I forget that.
Yeah.
No more Coyotes. No more let me hear you howl.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
That's brutal.
Yep. So, I mean, Jack, do you have anything else to say, or does this wrap it up?
No, that's curtains. Just everyone remember, Wana's got big time action. This last weekend was the first time with some of the inflated payouts, where second place is now making $1,000 in the main event. Third place is making $750. Fourth place making $500. So people, $2 investment. That's big time fucking stuff. If it's about fun, if it's about making money, Wana Parlay is going to be where you want to do it. 2 more weeks to go on the VIP contest. Just told you can win $2,000 any weekend here. You can't win fucking 2 sweet tickets to Chiefs Monday Night Football, a couple doors down from Taylor Swift. That's far more than $2,000, people. Might as well go ahead and get your hat in that ring.
And expenses paid in that one. You get flight, you get food, you get hotel. I mean, it's a great, great offer.
Thank you very much for piggybacking. I appreciate you getting the important info out there. And then the last one, next Monday, October 21st, if you're in Chicago or just in the Midwest in general, it's worth the drive. Kevin Gleiwa, KG, and the boys are throwing it up at Little Joe's, having the big time event. We got guest celebrity bartenders. We've got Wana Parlay sponsor the event. We got KG's famous jambalaya getting made behind the counter. We got some big time stuff going on. So if you're in town, make sure to go over there and check that out. We're going to be having a real good time.
With that being said, we salute you all.